right, let's get into case studies. Now, this type of blog post is usually used by companies or by someone who provides a product or service to display their products in a real life way. So basically, you could think of a case study as a how-to guide. Remember, we talked about how-to guides, but with real life examples where you have somebody other than your company speaking on behalf of your company with their own experience. You can think of it as a more thorough type of testimonial. One of the main purposes for a case study is that you're going to follow the path of your main character. And this main character is the person who this case study is all about. There, you can call them the main character. Some people call them the hero, but they are the focus of this article, along with the results and the solutions they received with your product or service. And at the end of this type of article, there should be some type of solution or results. And when you're writing these types of articles, it makes your company feel a little bit more relatable because, well, basically it's the main character who is more relatable, but it makes someone who may have their guards up about your company feel a little bit better in their choice of going with your product or service because there is actual case study. Now, some of the steps that we take when we're creating our case studies over at Bramework is that we like to make sure that we create a clear and concise title that also has this formula right here. So we're going to talk about this title formula for your case study. So it's going to include the name of the person, the results they received, and the product that they used. And you can use this same type of title format for your case study. So for instance, if you go on Bramework, you'll see how Andre, his name, cut his blog writing time from 2 hours to 20 minutes. That is the result. And then with Bramework, that is the product. And then we also said how Candace increased her writing output 5 times with Bramework. Again, we have her name, we have the result or the benefit she received. She increased her writing output 5 times, and using the product Bramework. And so you can use this for your own service when you have clients who want to come on and give their testimonial and they just love their results. They can actually help you create a case study. And what you can do with them, if they don't want to sit there and write it, is that you can get on a call with them, record it. You can ask them certain questions that we're going to go over in the steps. And then once you record it, you can send that video to be transcribed so that you can just pull out the text from it. And then you can format that audio into a case study, and then you can just have some images, some screenshots that they'll send you on where they started to where they are. It might be some photos if you have some type of fitness or health related blog or service. And that's basically how you create your case studies with your clients. Now, some of the steps after we do our first thing, like I said earlier, after we do our first thing of creating a clear title, then you have to specify the goal in the article. You have to say what the reader is going to get out of this goal. If we're talking about Andre, we're going to talk about he eventually went from 2 hours of writing his blog post to 20 minutes. So that is the goal. We're going to show you how he got from 2 hours to 20 minutes. That's the goal of the article. And then we're going to introduce you to Andre. We're going to give you some background on him, how he got this problem. It's kind of like reading a Harry Potter novel. You get introduced to Harry Potter. You get a little background of why he is the boy who lived. Then you go on this epic adventure with him. He has a lot of problems, which we get to their problem. We talk about their problem and how they even got to this point. And then after that, we're going to talk about the solution and results that they received with your product. We're going to talk about how they even found your product, when they found it, how did it change their life. And then after that, you're going to talk about the steps they took. So after you talk about how they found your product and the results they got, you want to see if you can get some more out of that client to tell them so that they can give you more detail on each of the steps that they took when they discovered your product, how they used it, some tips right here, some tips they can give in regards to your product, their experience just in the industry. It doesn't necessarily have to be related to your product, but if it's in health and fitness, they may say some things like, in addition to using your product, I was drinking a lot of water, I was doing a lot of walking, I was making sure that I was eating a balanced diet. So it could be those type of tips that you integrate within your article. And like I said, you want to make sure you have some images, some screenshots that they can send you to solidify the information that they're giving to your reader. And then after that, you just write a conclusion. And then at the end of your conclusion, you know there should always be a CTA, especially if you have a product or service. And even if it's just a blog post, say you talk about solo traveling and somebody finally took a solo trip because of your type of content, or you have a book on solo travel and that person took a trip by themselves because of your book. You can do a case study if you are a blogger that specializes in just a specific niche, and you may have a few products there. You may have a digital product. I mean, you can use this case study for anything, and at the end of it, you say, hey, if you want those same results, here's my product. If you want those same results, here's my book. Or go to this next article, or check out my YouTube channel, or get on my email list. Whatever you're trying to do to make that reader take that next step after going through this case study. So there you have it, the things you need to know about creating a case study for your blog.